All right, guys, what's up? It's been a while since we've done one of these videos, which I will take the blame for because I was moving. But here we are. Nadia is 7 days out, and we're just going to kind of do a recap of where we're at right now, how we're here, how we got here, and also, too, I made a post today. Today is the 13th of November, for those of you guys that want to look on my Instagram when you watch this. But I think the general theme of a lot of our updates have been, as of late, as you know, in terms of overcoming adversity, variables within a prep that need to be considered that aren't within a standardized plan. And then also, there comes a point in every prep where you kind of have to just throw out the rule book and, and just do what needs to be done. And that's what the last few weeks have been. But what I think is important from a coach-athlete relationship is as you're pushing somebody potentially further than what on paper it looks like somebody should go, what I think is really crucial during that time is you're really there to support them in terms of your communication. So where I think a lot of coaching goes wrong is like Nadia's plan, what Nadia is doing right now. If I were to have sent her that plan 6 weeks ago and then I wasn't checking in on her, I wasn't being responsive to her updates, then it's going to look like there's a lot of negligence on my end. So like within a plan, like when you're pushing an athlete, and those of you that are in a hard plan yourself, or those of you that are coaching people through hard plans, it's really, really important that you support them through that. And I think that's where the coaching lacks in times, because ultimately, guys, there's no rule book in this. And, people can be hypocritical. People can be holier than thou in terms of looking at what Nadia is doing right now and being like, oh my gosh, like that is so bad, But really it comes down to doing what it takes and supporting an athlete through that. So that's what kind of the overall theme of this update is going to be. And honestly, I'm really excited because she's ready for the show now. This week is going to be, it's going to be a week of navigation in the sense that I don't think it's really time to pull back just yet. I do want to feed her. What my goal is, just to give you guys kind of, as we get into this, my goal for tomorrow is to feed her pretty close to what I expect what her diet is going to look like a day out of the show. And then we need to fast forward basically 2 days, but Nadia's best day of her sleep cycle is typically waking up on Sunday morning. So I want to feed her tomorrow, which is going to be Saturday, with that 1 day out type look in terms of her food. And then I want to look at her in person on Sunday.
I'll have my last leg session too tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's the only variable that's going to be a little bit different. The two variables that are going to be a little bit different is I'm not going to manipulate her water at all tomorrow, and then she is going to be training legs. Other than that, her food, I want it to be really standardized to what it's going to look like 1 day out, and then we're also going to reduce cardio, not all the way, but a reduction of cardio from normal. So those are the two things that we're going to change for tomorrow, and then I want to look at her Sunday, and then when I look at her Sunday, I'm going to kind of look at her through the scope of, okay, with 100% needing to be next Friday, where are you at now? And what do we need to do between now and then to get you there? And I think a lot of that, again, is this has been a constant theme with her throughout these videos, is just managing her inflammation. And then also, too, with her, her schedule is so intensive that one of the biggest things I want to see Wednesday, Thursday, leading up to the show is just more sleep, more rest, more time off social media, just kind of just really just being to herself. So that's where we're at. I'll kind of let Nadia talk about how we've gotten to where we're at today, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I think we left off just recapping 4.5 to 6.5 weeks out. We hadn't quite begun this push period just yet. We had just actually recently, after that video that we posted, we had just started a third gym session, a second cardio session, not directly post-workout, but going home after our training session, having a meal, getting to recoup and recover. And for me, it was kind of like a nice little reset, and then go back for a third window of calorie burning in the evening. And I found that I also was almost happier to do it that way, because I was a little bit more fresh after having that time out of the gym and with a meal in me, and just able to catch my breath for a second before going right into some cardio. And I've been able to have more intense and effective cardio sessions, I believe, in my opinion, having splitting it up from my training session. So that's something that we've been doing. Those are sticking to 5 sessions a week in the evenings. I haven't been doing them on my leg days, on the days I'm training legs. or if you tell me not to do one, I won't do it. If you say take off evening cardio. So a lot of it has been like, even though we have a strict plan that we've been following, like however many days a week of cardio, however many days a week of training, if I need a day off, it's given to me. Because at this point we can kind of read when my body's fighting me and when it's just being stubborn, and we just need to push a bit harder. So just being on the same page in terms of our communication and knowing what buttons to push at the right time, I think has been just huge for us in the progress that we've been able to make in the past few weeks. We did significantly decrease food too as well. We took some fats away, we took some carbs away. Post-workout, I'm no longer having beef, I'm having fish now. My fats are in the morning with my breakfast. I'm having my macadamia nut oil, and pretty much it's protein veggie all day up until my training. I have a little bit of potatoes, and then even still, like I was telling Matt yesterday, like going into my cardio session after my training, after even having a meal, that I just felt like my blood sugar was low, and I just felt a little bit faint, and just, like I needed to catch my breath and catch my pace and get my feet under me before I started that cardio session. So that's even more why I think it's important right now for me to be splitting that up. Even though it's post-training cardio, it's not directly after my training. I have my cardio in the morning, my fasted cardio, a rest period while I'm working all day until I train, and I just train. And then I have another rest period until I then go into another session of evening cardio. So I think being able to not only have 3 calorie burning windows throughout the day, but also being able to just get my feet under me in between those times where I'm burning calories and trying to, make the most out of my fat loss and everything, it has just helped me be more efficient. And I think it's proven to be effective just in the last week, 2 weeks alone.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 things. The first thing I want to touch on is from my perspective, why did I split it up into 3 sessions? And a lot of it Nadia just hit, but I think I've been asked, I've also done an Instagram Q&A today, and I had a lot of questions about, how I've gotten to where I've gotten in terms of coaching. And one of the things that I kept reiterating on that was the fact that your own body of work is so important. So I know from myself when I was in prep that my main goal with myself and then with my athletes is to be able to be assertive as possible within the environment. So that means for me, I always tried to split up cardio and training whenever I could. And then when I got back to, or I don't remember exactly when it was, but I noticed basically I was able to witness Nadia in her environment. And I just felt like she worked all day. She would go straight from work into training, and then she'd go straight from training into cardio. And I just felt like that was a lot on her mentally, versus being able to just focus on one task at a time in that fatigue state, not knowing that she had another task right away. Rather, she could go home and eat, rest for a little bit, get mentally recharged up, and then go back into the next environment. Because what I don't want to do, or what I don't want to have happen, is have an athlete kind of mentally reserve energy during training, knowing that they have cardio.
Yeah.
Or just kind of go into cardio and shut their mind off and not really focus on their cardio being effective. So that was why I split it up. The other thing about her diet is through our communication and talking about Nadia's previous preps, she's basically told me that there was a point in every prep where, just kind of all hell broke loose and she had to do whatever she had to do, in terms of cardio, in terms of clenbuterol, in terms of diet. So what I tried to do was I tried to hold back on that as much as possible, and I tried to feed her as much as possible. But then there comes that point where it's I'm either going to be negligent and prideful as a coach and not listen to her feedback of what got her here, or we're going to do what it takes. So at that point, something else I've been talking about too is her mental confidence, and so badly I wanted to make sure by a week out she was ready. And I can say, put a stamp of confidence on the fact that she is ready. And I'm not saying that she's not going to get any better in the next week, but I would also be fine with her getting on stage tomorrow, so that's kind of where I'm at. So I wanted to make sure that happened, and if I was fighting that process of, no, I'm going to feed her my way, I'm going to do things my way. And ultimately, it comes down to, there's been preps where even my last prep, I had more muscle than I ever had. And in order to truly get into shape, I had to eat less than I've ever eaten before. And on paper, that doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't really matter what makes sense on paper. You have to go by what your body's at and what your body's doing, and then just make the judgment calls off of there. So she has if you want to say suffered, I hate that word because we're choosing to do that. But she's worked extremely hard, and I could see kind of like this, like, I check on her a few times a day because there's like this blank look in her face, like, are you there? Are you not there? And there's been a lot of just like continuing circumstances, like the move, her dad leaving, like it's just been constant things that have gone into this prep that we're not continuing to address, but I know that they're still there. So those are other things. Like I needed to ensure no matter what, especially with our relationship, our coaching relationship, her being a part of Camp Jansen, like it's extremely important that she dominates at the show. Obviously, the goal is to win. We don't have control over that, but I think what we do have control over 100% is how she represents herself on stage and what she looks like on stage, which can have a huge impact outside of the win itself if that happens to be the case. But I really, really want her to be in the mix for the overall. Like that's been my goal this whole time. And that's the physique that we prepped to happen for this week. So that's kind of where we're at. You want to share anything else?
I'll share that at this point, a lot of people have asked me, knowing what I'm doing and how much, cardio I'm doing, how little food I'm eating right now, how are you feeling? Are you doing okay? What's it like? And at this point, I think I'm just like, of course, at the end of the day, I'm tired and I'm ready to go to sleep earlier than I would be 4 or 5 weeks ago. But at this point, I'm so excited. I'm running off of just adrenaline at this point, and I can't wait to do it. And I can't believe that it's so close and that, everything that's happened over the past 20 weeks, really like 15, 20 weeks, it's all added up to where we're sitting right here in this room talking about this right now. And then in a week we'll be, hopefully fresh off stage after prejudging. So it's just a reminder to myself to enjoy every part of the process, because when, you're in quote suffering at the end of your prep, or whenever you have to push the gas a little bit more, it's all only temporary. Just as it was only temporary when I was eating more frequently and I was doing less cardio and I had a little bit more, I don't want to say freedom, but I was having more frequent high days, and it wasn't as intense as it is now. It's always just everything. You kind of have to just grasp it for what it is at that moment and just know that it's not a forever thing. And it's just made me really appreciate the value of, the lessons I learned during a prep, through all the hard things that come in my way or the obstacles that I face, and just learning to handle it with a smile on my face, knowing that it's going to pass and it's going to make me most likely stronger than I was previously, and just understanding that, it all happens in time for a good reason, and that it's not thrown at you to knock you off your path, but just to kind of make you stronger and better prepared along that path, because that path you're on is for you, and I strongly believe in that kind of thing. And I'm just excited. And I had like a stressful suit situation today where FedEx didn't want to deliver it and I wasn't home, and then they said it couldn't be picked up till Monday, but I didn't want to wait till Monday because Monday is cutting it awfully close, and I'm able to go pick it up today. So just like navigating those items with trying to have a good attitude as best I can, and just knowing that it's all going to be fine and everything's going to get taken care of. And at this point, not throwing the small stuff, because in the last 15, 20 weeks, we've done the work, we've done the cardio, we've trained hard, we've eaten all the food we needed to, we've eaten the food we didn't need to, we checked all our boxes, and we've done everything we could and more. So I really don't think that there's anything I wish that happened differently, or I wish could have happened a certain way versus how it did end up going. And I'm just excited to be there and do the damn thing, I guess.
Yeah. So we are gonna. What I'd like to do, and I haven't talked to her about this one. Maybe we could just share more content of like what her plan is day to day on Instagram this week, so that way you guys can see it. We're gonna be together at Nationals. We can jump on here and do a few videos, like kind of recap a day. So we'll do that for you, and then we plan to leave Wednesday. We're going to drive down together Wednesday, and then just go from there. So we'll keep you guys in the loop. I want to do like a condensed version of her plan every day, this, from today moving forward, so you guys can just kind of see the process unfold, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. We'll see you guys in the next one.